speech is dedicated to my sister Denicia. Confidence is something we often misunderstand. We think it's natural, something we're either born with or without. But the truth is, confidence is built brick by brick, moment by moment, through struggle, perseverance, and sometimes pure survival. Growing up, my life was filled with uncertainties, scars that'll never fade, and many moments where hope seemed impossible to hold on to. I wasn't just a kid trying to figure out school. I was a kid trying to survive. I spent my early years in a small trailer in Lake Pennsauken with my mother, sister, and my stepfather. My mother did her best to raise us, but life is hard. My stepfather was a trucker, often gone for months at a time, sending in barely enough money just to keep us fed. When he was home, he'd surprise me and my sister with little trinkets from his trips. But those gifts couldn't match the reality of our home life. At night, our home was often filled with shouting. My stepfather, often drunk, would argue with my mother while my sister and I screamed, begging for her to stop. But our cries disappeared into the long, endless nights of fear. My mother, battling her own demons and childhood trauma, fell back into drinking and using drugs. She would spend what little money we had on drugs and alcohol. There were nights where we all had to eat Kraft singles and raw hot dogs. When hunger became unbearable, we'd visit our neighbors for a warm meal because we couldn't cook for ourselves. When I started school in 2011, I was already struggling. My stepfather, who had been expelled from school for his own troubles, encouraged me to misbehave. I got into fights, cursed at teachers, and collected write-ups like they were trophies. I wasn't just failing academically, I was being left behind, held back in first grade because I had more long forms and good grades. School didn't feel like a place for learning, it felt like another battleground. Life at home only got worse. DCF got involved, and me and my sister were placed into foster care. We were even split up at one point due to my atrocious behavior, but somehow we ended right back up where we started. Then everything changed when I met my grandmother. She revealed something that shattered everything I thought I knew about my father. He was not my real dad. 7 years of blowing up birthday candles, wishing for a different father, and now I had felt those wishes had finally come true. It was a miracle for me, but that miracle didn't last long. Eventually, my grandmother convinced my mother to leave my abusive stepfather. He eventually went to prison for hurting my mom, and she was later arrested for theft. By then, me and my sister were separated. I went to live with my grandma Jackie, while my sister moved to Maine with another grandmother. For the first time in my life, I felt safe. I switched schools, my behavior changed. Teachers had actually begun to notice me. They encouraged me and pushed me. They saw my potential where I had only seen failure. I discovered a love for reading and science, subjects I once ignored. I was even given the opportunity to skip a grade, but I choose to stay with my friends. Silly me. But even in this newfound stability, I still struggled. Years of hardship that had left scars mentally and physically. I gained weight, and bullying chipped away at what little self-esteem I had. Then over the summer of my third grade, my sister was taken from me. One summer after visiting her, my grandmother in Maine cut off all contact, changed numbers, moved, disappeared. I hadn't seen or spoken to my sister in 10 years. The guilt consumed me. I blame myself, convinced that I had done something differently. If I would have done something differently, she would still be in my life. The anger I carried became unbearable. At 9 years old, I was throwing chairs and desks, screaming at teachers, fighting anyone who would look at me the wrong way. Once again, I was the bad kid. But then another teacher saw past my rage. They saw the hurt, the loneliness, and the need for someone to believe in me. Slowly, I started turning things around. Just as I had begun to rebuild myself, my real father was released from prison and moved in with me and my grandmother. The peace I had found was shattered. My father had his own battles, drug addiction, anger, and a past that he had never escaped. He didn't believe in school. To him, education was pointless. Instead of studying for tests, I was forced into late-night chores. Instead of being encouraged to dream, I was always told I would never need college. My grandmother fought for me, but my father's voice had always won. And when he lost control, I bore the brunt of it. I showed up to school with bruises, giving weak excuses about baseballs and misplaced steps. My grades plummeted. My hope for college disappeared. I got a job just to stay away from home, convincing myself that maybe this was my fate. But then in my sophomore year, I met Miss Holloway. She had heard my story, saw my struggle, and told me about Avid. She encouraged me to interview. At first I hesitated. Who was I to join a program for college-bound students? But I took a chance, and I got in. Avid became more than a class. It became my lifeline. For the first time, I had people who believed in me, who pushed me to be better. I learned how to study, how to manage my time, and how to organize my thoughts. Tutorials weren't just for homework, they were for growth. They taught me how to ask for help, how to collaborate, and how to believe that I could succeed. For the first time in my life, I had finally saw a future beyond survival, but that life had one more challenge awaiting for me. At the start of my senior year, Hurricane Milton hit. Our house was flooded, leaving behind damage that couldn't be undone. I lost most of my prized possessions, but in that loss, I had found something else, an opportunity. The hurricane forced me to leave my home, and with that, I was finally free of my abusive stepfather. I stand here today not because my path is easy, but because I refuse to let my past define me. And AVID didn't just teach me how to be a good student, it taught me how to be resilient. It gave me the confidence to believe that I am more than my circumstances. Now I look towards the college, with certainty, knowing that my future is mine to shape. AVID gave me the tools to succeed, but more importantly, it gave me the confidence to believe that I deserve success. I was no longer the kid that broke down at the sight of a happy family. I no longer got angry and threw things. I never snapped or lashed out on anyone. I finally feel comfortable in my own shoes, and I've paved a path to success and determination built on my newfound confidence in myself. And I'm proud of my journey, and now I'm going to be attending Santa Fe State College in the fall of 2025, and I plan on transferring to the University of Florida to pursue a degree in music education so that one day I can help teach music and inspire teams to be confident and provide a loving family to those who aren't so lucky like me. So to all of you who have been a part of my journey, my teachers, my mentors, my friends, thank you. Thank you for seeing me when I couldn't see myself. This journey has been long, turbulent, and filled with pain, but I made it. And for the first time, I can say with confidence, I'm ready for what's next. Thank you.